A fisherman in Mississippi opened a plastic bag, smeared a dark paste on the bait, and threw it into the water. In 40 minutes, he had 18 fish. The guy next to him, with a box of store-bought bait that cost $35, had 2. If you want to fish like this, sign up here. Stores sell what's expensive. The old fishermen of the South used what was free. That difference still exists, but almost no one talks about it. The technique I'm going to show you today costs nothing. There are no ingredients to buy, and it works in lakes, rivers, reservoirs, any water. If this is your first time here, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any secrets the industry tries to keep hidden. This episode happened at a fishing spot in Tennessee in 2021. 2 fishermen, same place, same time of day, same target. Largemouth bass. One used $12 artificial lures. The other took a small bottle from his pocket, applied a dark, oily mixture to the lures, and cast without any ceremony. In 40 minutes, the score was 18-2. The owner of the fishing spot went to ask what it was. The guy laughed and said he learned it from his grandfather, back in the Mississippi Delta, when he didn't have money to buy bait at any store, and that his grandfather had learned it from his father, who fished in the river to feed his family in the 1930s. It's not a private club secret. It's not a competition technique. It's something people who needed to fish for real, without spending any money, discovered, and found that nature already provided what the fish needed to feel. This practice still lives on in the most remote corners of the United States. In Arkansas, on the banks of the Ouachita River. In the Louisiana Bayou, where Cajun fishermen still use versions of this mixture for catfish and perch. In the interior of Missouri, where riverside families have taught this from generation to generation without ever writing a word. The ingredient? Stale breadcrumb fermented with animal fat. Free, $0. But the secret isn't just throwing that on the bait. There's a chemical reaction that the fish can sense from afar. And I'm going to show you exactly what happens underwater. Most fishermen spend years in the wrong spot, using bait that doesn't smell at all. The link below has a complete guide to help you stop guessing and start using what actually attracts fish. Scroll down. It sounds crazy to call something you pull from the pantry bait, but it's not. The Great Lakes have records of native fishermen using natural yeasts for centuries. In the Deep South, this never disappeared. It was just forgotten by most. Now, before I show you the step-by-step process, you need to understand why this works, because without understanding why, you'll prepare it incorrectly and won't see any results. A fish's olfactory system is unlike ours. It's something else entirely. A largemouth bass has olfactory receptors capable of detecting amino acids in concentrations of 1 part per billion in water. This means it can smell something tens of meters away before it sees anything. When bread ferments with fat, it releases glutamic acid, aspartic acid, and sulfur compounds, precisely the chemical signals that fish associate with decaying live prey. The lateral line detects vibration. The sense of smell detects these compounds. When both signals coincide, the trigger for an attack is almost automatic. It's instinct, not a choice. Think of it this way. It's like releasing the smell of your favorite dish into a dark room. You'll follow it even if you can't see anything. But there's one detail that most people ignore, and it's precisely this detail that separates those who fill their bucket from those who return empty-handed. Fermentation needs to happen at the right time. Too short, too weak, too long, and the compounds dissipate. The exact point is between 36 and 48 hours of resting. Now, the step-by-step process. Ingredients: 2 slices of stale white bread, the older the better, 1 tablespoon of lard or bacon fat, 1 pinch of brown sugar, warm water, enough to soften the bread. Total cost: less than $0, $50, and you probably already have all of this at home. Step 1. Mash the bread with your hand until it becomes a thick paste. It doesn't need to be uniform. Lumps help it hold onto the bait. Step 2. Mix in the fat while the bread is still warm. The fat is what carries the aromatic compounds in the water. Without it, the smell won't disperse properly. Step 3. Add the brown sugar and warm water. Mix well. The final consistency should stick to your fingers, but not runny. Step 4. Place in a covered container and let it sit at room temperature for 36 to 48 hours. Do not refrigerate. Fermentation needs warmth to activate. The ratio I'm using here is one of those found in the complete guide, along with more options for different freshwater and saltwater species. Storage. Once prepared, it lasts 5 days in the refrigerator. In the freezer, it lasts up to 3 weeks. Separate into small portions before freezing. It makes it easier to use without having to defrost everything at once. But there's another layer to it, and that's where the story gets really interesting. If you want to boost it, you can add garlic powder, half a teaspoon. Intensifies the olfactory signal. Bass and catfish respond very well. Anise oil, 3 to 4 drops. An aromatic compound that penetrates deeper in cold water. Works especially well on autumn mornings in the Midwest. So why don't stores sell this? Simply put, there's no profit margin. A container of artificial bait with synthetic chemical attractant costs between $8 and $15 on the market. The production cost? Less than $0.80. The entire difference goes into the manufacturer's pocket, not your bucket. An ingredient you take from your pantry costs nothing and works better because it's biochemically closer to what fish recognize as real food. That's not convenient for any company to sell to you. When using, apply the paste directly to the bait or hook before casting. A pea-sized amount is sufficient. More than that won't improve anything. It will only make a mess. Best times: between 5:30 a.m. and 8 a.m., and between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. During these periods, the water temperature is lower. The compounds disperse slowly and form a cloud of odor that remains in the area for longer. Species that respond best: catfish, largemouth bass, and crappie. For trout in slow currents, the result is also consistent. Most common mistake: applying and casting immediately. Wait 10 seconds with the lure in still water before starting the retrieve. Let the cloud form first. It's the cloud that draws the fish to the lure, not the movement. Now think about your next fishing trip. With this money in your pocket, what changes? Click now. Secure your access to high-level fishing, and let these strategies start transforming your next fishing trips. The link is in the first pinned comment. When you return from the water applying what you've learned, come back here and comment, "I caught more." That will be your commitment to your evolution in fishing. And perhaps it's exactly the step that separates the stories you hear from the stories you'll start telling. Think about your next fishing trip. While others spend $15 on store-bought bait, you use a paste that cost nothing and came from your own pantry. In 40 minutes, your results will speak for themselves. Your friends will ask for the secret. You decide whether to tell them. This knowledge existed before any fishing store opened its doors in the United States. The masters of the American South didn't need catalogs. They needed to fish, and they fished more than anyone with expensive equipment today. Now you have the same knowledge. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video.